Welcome to a very special edition of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury, brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada, Listowel Vision Care, See the Game, and our friends at the Listowel Squash Courts. And that's where we are. Ryan Drury alongside Chris Clark, and we're very pleased to be joined by our friend, the owner of the courts here, Alan McArthur. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having you. Thanks for having us, man. This is your house. Come on.
Usually it goes the other way, I guess.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Now I'm dressed in my Sunday best.
Yeah,
Clarkey,
you got your tuxedo on.
I know.
Nice.
Well, we'll see if we're ever invited back. If Clarkey behaves, we'll maybe come back and do this again.
Yeah.
It's great to be here, man. And we've had you on before talking about the great game of squash and the facility here. It's nice that our viewers can kind of get a look at the facility. We got games going on behind us. How are things going at the courts right now?
They're going great. We've started up the leagues, the men's league and the women's league. They've taken off. So the men's league is finished the tournament to seed the guys. We have 27 guys in the men's, and the women's league is just working through their tournament to seed them and start. There'll be a couple weeks more. I kind of staggered them so we don't get all jumbled. But there's 17 women in the ladies league, so it's really good. I can't complain. They're awesome people. There's a lot of beginners, a lot of people that have played before, and just a nice mix. Yeah, it's good.
And Clarkey.
So the beginners, right?
Well, let's just jump right into things here, Mr. Drury.
Okay. Yeah.
So 27 people in the men's side, 26 guys, and Nicole.
And right. Yep.
She's a really good player.
Yes.
She's on the men's side. So we just finished our double knockout tournament. And where do you think? Like, just pick a spot. 27, where am I?
Where are you?
Yeah, where do you think I finished?
I'm going to say 16th.
Ooh. Well, he has no faith in me whatsoever. 16th!
It's like halfway down the...
16th! That's the guy, he thought I was 16th.
I put you right down the middle. Like, what's 13th?
Fair. That's not fair, Al.
It's kind of fair.
I don't think it's
You're
fair.
injured a lot. You'll probably drop.
Yeah, you're Matt Murray.
Okay, so let's go through it. I won my first match. I won my second match. Played probably the best player. Lost the third one.
Is that Jacob? Jacob's ladder?
No, it's actually not.
Really? Breaking news.
Al brought in a new player.
What do you?
He recruited a guy.
Did you bring in a ringer from Europe or something?
Yeah,
Where was he from?
I went took all summer just visiting clubs, trying to find the best of the best for Listowel.
Just to beat me.
Just brought, big paycheck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, actually, Josh came to us from Waterloo. His family moved to Listowel.
Okay.
So he kind of commutes back and forth, but misses his club in Waterloo, so joined ours. Was happy to know we had a league, and a fairly competitive league. At the top 10, 15 players are really up there. So he came in and started playing guys. And yeah, he's really good. He's going to have Jacob's ladder, I think.
Wow. So where are you? Get to the point.
So he beat me. But it was the first game. The guys were watching. It was a close game. It was 11-9. I was in it.
Okay. So you're like the Leafs in the first round, close but no cigar.
Just go up a little higher. Keep guessing.
I'll give you 7th.
Higher.
Come on. Are you really that good?
Dude, I'm 4th.
He's 4th.
Top 5, yeah.
Incredible.
And it'll be okay to stick it out.
So you're a conference finalist.
Yeah.
You're way better than the Leafs.
And the good thing is, the guy who I'm going to be speaking with a little later, Mike Benjamin. So I beat Mike in the first match, so I sent him to the loser side. But then we met again.
Yeah.
And he beat me. But
so then what happened to you?
Games.
You didn't.
So that was my second knockout. So I was out.
Okay.
And then Mike was top 3, and we went and as it turned out, it was Josh versus Jacob in the final.
Yeah.
Really?
But Jacob is the champ because Josh pulled a hamstring.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's too bad, eh?
Yeah, but it's fine, and they'll be able to compete. So the way the ladder works is you can challenge someone now, what is it, 5?
5 places, yeah. So
above you.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
If you beat that person in a true match, best 5 games, so first one to win 3 games, then you take their spot and they drop 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. You can switch it up quite a bit, right? There's a lot of movement, and if you don't want to go for the 5th one above you, you go 4th, 3rd. Same time, you have 5 people under you wanting your spot, right?
Right.
And enough about me. Where did you finish, Al?
Well, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. 27 guys. Where do you think I finished, Ryan?
8th. Like, you got to be top 10. Alan, you own the court.
I know. So
got a lot of
I
stuff to do.
graciously put myself 27. I'm gonna. My goal is to play every guy on the way up.
So you on purpose put yourself at the bottom.
Well, he played though.
I would have been like at the highest 24th. Like I was out right away. I got double knocked out right away. Like
Really?
it was bad.
You got a bad draw.
I got top guys.
I'm like laughing. I've never played. I'm laughing at the guy. Unbelievable.
I'm hoping this year, honestly, like last year my goal throughout the season was top 10. To break that, my goal this year is top 15. It's really come a long way.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have played all summer, really kept up with it, and it's going to be a tough ladder.
It will be.
Now it's really competitive, but I like, kind of what you've shared with me here. Good for you, Clarkey. But I remember when you first started playing with our friend Steve Sabrin, and that's kind of the thing here is it's easy to get into the game because like a lot of people that never played before are obviously doing very well now.
Yes, yeah. So the 24/7 access, online booking, it makes it really easy to find time to get in here. And then even with the leagues, we do a Sunday to Sunday loop. So you don't have to play on Tuesday nights. You don't have to play on Thursday night. We have a lot of people playing in the morning. We have a lot of people playing at lunch.
You have to play one game a week.
One game a week.
Unless you're injured with a doctor's note.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and slip me a 20. So
Did I get a locker?
Yeah, and a locker. But it's nice because you don't have to commit to every day. And I've had some people say, well, that won't work because I want to play every Tuesday. Well, then book your match every Tuesday. You have 5 people you can challenge and 5 people below challenge you. It'll work on a Tuesday, right? So it's a nice option both ways. A little more work on my end, but way more convenient for these guys and ladies to get out whenever it works in their schedule. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. And I know you mentioned the women's league, and you put out kind of an ad for that for women to get in and start a league. It started off pretty small, but it's exploded. You've got a lot of participants now.
Yeah, my goal was 15. Started off with only a couple. Wasn't too sure if it was actually going to fly, and then they just word of mouth. I got a few of the ladies with the package of registering. You get a free beginner lesson with myself, just to teach you the rules of the game, the basics, get a good rally going and play a little game just so you know what a match consists of. After that beginner lesson, they loved it, right? For the most part, they were going out and they were telling their friends. It was great water cooler talk. Right, it was a good way to. I had a lady I bumped into, a personal trainer that plays here a bit, and she was saying this morning at my boot camp, this one lady was just talking it up, like just loving the women's league because of the convenience. Right, you're not committed to a specific night or a specific time. You can play with your schedule. Yeah,
it's perfect.
Let's be honest, it doesn't take a lot, right? Like to play the game. Like you need a racket.
Yep.
You need some good court shoes.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
These. Oh man, look at that. They need to be replaced.
Worn.
They're kind of worn. And then the balls, like a couple of different balls. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Maybe not. But there's
differences in the balls.
There are. Yeah. So double yellow is
expert.
That's what I use.
So what is it, like heavier?
Nope. So they're pretty much the
bouncy.
same, but they just bounce different.
Yeah.
Yeah. More hang time.
Okay.
Less bounce.
Yeah. The white dot, which was the blue dot.
Yeah, so it's just a different manufacturer.
Okay,
Head does a white dot, Dunlop does a blue dot.
Okay, so the one blue dot or white dot is a lot bouncier. You have to get the ball warmed up to really play because the ball will not go anywhere if it's cold. So you have to warm it up. And the white ball is for more beginners because the ball will bounce more and stay and play more. You might think, if it bounces more, it's harder. It's not. It's easier because it'll bounce off the back wall more.
Right.
So you don't have to do as much running. The double yellow ball doesn't bounce very much at all. Like if I went out,
and that's the expert one.
If I went out to the court right now and dropped these balls, they would come up like half an inch off the ground. They don't bounce at all. You got to whack them.
Really?
Yeah, you got to hit them.
See, this is stuff that I didn't know.
Exactly.
I just thought, the balls are bouncy and you whack them around. Like,
yeah.
Hey guys, you got a ball you've been using? Can you toss it up?
We're gonna get an example here.
We are.
Of a ball.
Ryan can feel the heat from one being used for a bit to just a cold one. You can really tell.
You can definitely tell when the ball's warm.
Interesting.
And you have to warm it up to play. You have to get a good rally going to warm up the ball.
Okay, yeah.
Like not only you warming
let's
up.
Let's have a comparison.
Not only warm.
Oh yeah, wow. That is
huge difference.
And
way
even when
different.
if you give it a.
Wow. I didn't realize this. I thought they were just like a lacrosse ball or something. That's
Lacrosse
incredible.
ball.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Go through the wall.
Yeah, that's weird. Holy
I also
Interesting.
recommend some goggles. Wear some goggles.
Right, so you don't poke out your friend's eye like
Right,
you did to
yeah.
Steve Sabat.
Steve Sabat ran into my racket. I couldn't help it. He ran into my racket.
Sabby. I wish we could get people to call into the show.
He ran into my racket. There was blood. I don't know what happened, but he ran in. But these are prescriptions,
Yeah.
so I take these off and I put these on. They're prescription.
Yep.
You can get them at Dr. AJ's office, Listowel Vision Care.
Absolutely.
You can
Listowel
get them
Vision
there.
Care. That's where these
And then,
came
of
from.
course, when you get to my age, you gotta have braces everywhere, right? So I got the knee brace going on. I got the ankle brace going on.
Now, but that's not required.
It's not required. But Walmart sells them. Al, do you sell the braces?
No, I
yet?
don't.
No,
I
you
don't.
will soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got to get the braces.
Al's going to establish a senior tour.
Because-
Braces on the shelves.
Yeah.
Because you do break down a little bit when you play this game. I'm on the 10-day DL, by the way, right now.
Your point is that basically, like, that's it. That's all
it.
you need to play.
Racket and a ball.
Yeah.
A good set of shoes.
Yeah.
What kind of shoes do you recommend? Like, is there a specific brand or type of shoe?
Just a court shoe. So anything that, like basketball, anything like that, like
An
they
indoor
have
court.
specific squash shoes. But anything that's made for a court for the hardwood. So you can get into basketball shoes. It's really just what you prefer. But yeah, that's all you need is a racket and a ball. And for people coming to try it out, I have used stuff sitting there and it's free to use. Like you just use it, and then I have stuff in the pro shop for sale for people that get into it and enjoy it and want their own.
So your racket's your main weapon. What's a decent racket cost?
So I have everything from $40 up to $210. It's
Wow,
really
okay.
like everything.
So like your top end racket is like $200 for like the best piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't whack it on the wall, because
No.
they will break.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. The strings do break, but Al offers a string restringing service.
Oh, so you
if
do
break-
everything, man. You're
I try
repairing
and keep
this
it
stuff?
all in house, right? So I have guys that'll play their match, break their string, they'll just drop it off, and the next time they're playing, I'll have it done and ready and give it back to them. I really
Put it in
try
a
to make it,
locker?
I really try and make it super easy though, like one-stop shop. The only thing I don't really carry is shoes, just because there's such a broad range.
Right.
It's tough.
And most people have a clean pair of running shoes, and guys that get really into it, they usually have their brand that they want to stick to anyway. Yep.
Perfect. That's great. Well, I know, Clarkey, you're going to go down.
I'm gonna go down, yeah.
You're going to interview some of the better players here. Are you going to interview anybody that's ranked higher than you currently?
Maybe.
Is
Yeah,
someone in the building
no,
that's
the
better
guy,
than
the
you?
guy who beat me.
Really? You're going to
is
interview
here.
the guy that beat you?
Yeah. I just got to get ready. There's one more piece of equipment you could wear when you go down. 'Cause,
That you could
I'm gonna
wear.
be talking to Mike. You got to have a headband.
Is that a head brace or a sweatband?
It's a head brace.
You,
It's for my
you could
concussion.
wear it, but should you?
It's for my concussion.
Keeps your ears in. More aerodynamic.
Yeah, it holds the ice bags next to your head.
Yeah, but he sells the balls. He sells water bottles. He's got a nice water cooler down there. Bring your own water. You can fill it up. It's a great place. It really is.
It's an incredible facility, and we're up here. We're going to get down with Clarkey.
Yep.
He's going to go right down on the court and show you. Where can everybody get registered? It's pretty simple where they can find you.
Yeah, it's all on the website, listowelsquashcourts.ca. You can email me, Alan, at listowelsquashcourts.ca. The phone number is 519-418-4444. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Shoot me a message on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I'm pretty quick at getting back to you. And we'll get you signed up. It's really just, honestly, like I had a guy here this morning at 20 to 9. He really had to get going. I got him 2 10-packs and a racket, and he was gone by 10 to 9. Like he had his fobs, he was signed up, he was gone. It doesn't take long. No.
And that's the best
24
part.
hours, right?
24-hour facility,
You get a fob.
online
and
book,
boom.
fob it up.
And the other good part about it is, Al, as he's trying to always make it better, once you come here, you get a good sweat on, you shed some pounds, you can go out and buy a hot dog and fries.
Yeah.
Right?
Just work it off, right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect for you. Eh?
That's perfect for me.
Yeah, you and Phil Kessel should be here.
I look svelte, man. Come
You're
on
looking
now.
good.
All
You're
right.
looking good with your tux.
We're going to go down. Clarkey's going to go down right on the court and interview some players coming up next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury, and Clarkey is down on the court here at Listowel Squash Courts with a couple special guests. Clarkey.
Yeah, I'm not used to having a microphone down here. I have to have my racket in my hand just so I feel comfortable. But we have Jim, Alec, and Mike here. Now, I'm not going to tell you yet, Ryan, who beat me, but you might figure it out already. Anyway, Jim, I want to start with you. How long have you played squash?
2 years.
And did you start here or?
Yeah, here.
And what's your favorite part about it?
The great workout, great bunch of guys to play with.
And did you know anyone here when you started?
No, I did not.
How did you find out about it?
Facebook and radio advertising.
Radio advertising. See, it works. It actually works. Alec, first of all, you have an accent. You're not from Listowel, I presume. Is that right?
No, I'm from England. Been there for 10 years.
And did you play squash there?
When I was at college.
Okay. Is it big there?
No.
It's not.
No, it's not a big sport.
Really? And what's your favorite part about squash?
The social aspect, fitness, getting out.
Before I get to Mike, I want to talk to you guys about the ladder, because we've talked about the ladder a lot today. Now, when I look at the standings, which producer Adam's going to put on the screen, I see Alec 19. Are you happy with that?
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's absolute shocking behaviour.
Yeah, like what happened?
Yeah, Alan just ballsed it up.
Alan rigged it?
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's at the bottom.
Yeah, he couldn't fix that.
So how did it go? How many matches did you play?
I played 4 matches, and yeah, I should be about halfway up there.
So you're going to protest a little bit?
Absolutely, I already have.
Okay, good. Now, Jim, Alec is 19. You're 20th. So did you guys get to play, you and Alec?
We did not.
You did not. So how many matches did you have?
I played 3.
3. And are you happy with your position?
I'm happy enough with it. I know I'll work my way on up. So
And what's your goal? Where do you want to be?
if I can make 11 spot, I'll be happy.
11. You're better than that.
We'll see.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn my attention now to Mike. How long have you played squash?
I think this is my first full year playing squash. Yeah.
And I remember you here about a year ago, and we had our first match. It wasn't your greatest match.
That's correct. I also remember that.
Exactly. And you know what? Mike, I think, is the perfect example of a guy who just started this game and has worked hard and has turned it around. What position are you in the ladder?
Looks like I'm number 3.
Who did you beat?
Chris Clark.
So this is the guy who beat me. Though it was great. We played twice. I beat you the first time and then sent you into the losers bracket. And then I was in the losers bracket and we played and you beat me. Even though I was up 2-0. It was a great match.
It was a good match, yes. And then I won 3 in a row, and you just couldn't come back from that.
He's absolutely right. So, Ryan, when you hear about the Leafs choking and the Blue Jays choking, it has nothing to do with the Blue Jays choking. It's the competition, and it's great. And the other thing I want to say is I know these guys pretty well now. We've played here with them during the summer for sure and the last year. The great part about it is we all know each other so well, and we've all made new friends. And that's another great part about squash. It's just making new friends and getting out, exercising. And, Al's next door warming up, and I think he wants a little match with me now. So I'm going to try. I'm on the DL with a sore calf, but I'm going to give it a go. Guys, thank you so much. Continue good luck in the ladder. I'm gunning for you. You guys can try, but we'll see where you get. Okay? Thanks a lot. Ryan, back to you.
Thanks, Clarkey. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Clarkey and Alan, they're going to play each other here and demonstrate a game of squash for us on Instigating. That's up next. All right, we're back here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. As promised, Clarkey and Alan, the owner of the squash courts, they're going to demonstrate a little game for us here.
Well, we're going to try. Again, I'm a little on the injured list, but I'm going to try. So the first thing you do is you spin the racket to see who serves. So I ask Alan, up or down, Al?
Up.
Up. It's up. So Alan serves. He serves from that court. It's got to hit the front wall, then I can hit it. Let's go. Good game. Oh, that was a good shot. So that was a good shot. That's called a good shot.
I'm not 27th for nothing, right?
1-0. That's called a good shot again. 2-0. We might have to make it up to 11.
Yeah.
Touch the ball.
That's called a good shot too. Right?
Wow, Clarkey, well done.
So you get a point every shot, Ryan. So now it's 1-2.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Oops.
Almost made it.
Have you tied it now?
It's tied at 2.
Okay.
When you're playing squash, sometimes you say things that maybe you shouldn't, so I apologize beforehand. 2s.
Double.
Thanks for calling that. So it's a gentleman's game. That hit the ball floor twice, so it's my point. Some people don't call it, but you're supposed to.
Sporting, Clarkey.
What's the score? 3-2?
3-2. Oh, sorry.
It's all good. 4-2, Ryan. Was that on your way?
Good game.
Could have been a call to let there. Went right through my legs, but I didn't want to move. Anyway, there's a little example. That's why he's at 28th, but he's going to move up. I'm kidding.
Chirping
He's the best
owner.
owner of a squash court in Listowel.
#1
Alan
owner.
McArthur. He's the guy. Ryan, back to you.
Thanks, Clarkey. All right, now that we've got an example of a game of squash, we're going to let Alan cool down after that embarrassing loss to Clarkey. And we're going to come back with our friend Scott Bridge, the general manager of the Mitchell Hawks, to talk about his team and the Toronto Maple Leafs and their early season struggles next here on Instigating. Back to wrap things up here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury this week, and we're very pleased to be joined here with our great friends at the Listowel Squash Courts by our friend and yours, Scott Bridge, the general manager of the Mitchell Hawks of the PJHL. Bridgie, it's good to see you, man. I mean, you could be fooling people. It looks like you're the GM of the Buffalo Bills. Are you Brandon Bean for Halloween?
Yeah, I guess I could pretend to be him. They're off to a nice 5-1 start, so we'll take it.
Yeah, you got to be happy with how they're playing and how your Mitchell Hawks are playing, the team you're actually in charge of. Tell us a little bit about your early impressions of the season so far. It's been a decent start for the defending champs in the Pollock.
Yeah, it's been a nice start so far. 7 wins, 2 losses, and an overtime loss. So we're kind of right where we wanted to be. We had a goal in mind in our first 15 games on where we wanted our statistics to be. So we're pretty much right on pace with that. So we can't be upset. The 2 losses we've had in regulation were one was probably a winnable game. The other one we got blown out of the water, but the overtime loss could have went either way as well. So our record could potentially be better than where we set it out to be. So yeah, we're happy with our start so far.
Bridgie, how has been your role as the general manager so far? Like, new role for you, now you're getting into it, you're getting into the season. How much fun are you having?
I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of work throughout the summertime.
Yeah.
A lot of work throughout the summertime. There's a lot of nights watching the Jays game with the laptop open.
Okay, doing what? What are you doing?
You're reaching out to players from the AAA program, AA program, talking to parents as well, selling them on the Mitchell Hawks program, getting kids out to spring skate. So this was my first spring skate ever, obviously, and we had 30 kids out. So a lot of them came from the Huron Perth Lakers program. We had some other players out from Middlesex as well. We had kids out from Listowel minor hockey, Mitchell minor hockey, Stratford minor hockey, and we're just out working the phones, working the emails, and getting kids out. So it was nice. We obviously knew goaltending was a big need of ours, and we had 10 goalies out to spring skate, so that was nice.
Well, I got a tip for you. okay? You got to keep this quiet. But I know a 9-year-old goalie here on Perth, Alan McArthur's son, the owner's son, AAA goalie this year. He just told me now. So keep your eye on him.
We'll have to send some scouts out to watch him.
Exactly. Is 9 a little too early?
Yeah, do you
never
need
know.
a scout? Do you need a scout? I'm not busy Monday to Thursday night, you know? Yeah.
You'd be fantastic at it.
Do you have scouts?
Scouts are pretty much management coaches.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So
No,
you
we
just-
don't have any scouts on board. We take that job upon ourselves to go out there, scout, find, and sign.
Give a shout out to some of the players who are performing well so far.
Well, first and foremost, Josh Jacklin, our goaltender we brought in this year.
He's a really good goalie, Bridgie. Like, that's a great find by you guys. That trade you pulled off was a really nice piece of business. He's been great.
He's been fantastic. He's won us some games. That game, unfortunately, Saturday night we had in Mount Forest. We hung him out to dry and gave him no support whatsoever. But he's been fantastic, and had the opportunity of watching the last couple of years in Kincardine when he's been in between the pipes for the Bulldogs, and we knew he was a good goalie. And Josh Keel, I mean, we got to give credit to him. He pulled some strings with his connections in Kincardine, and Josh Keel.
Oh, Josh. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
we've
never heard of that guy.
yeah, exactly. But he pulled some strings.
With his connections in Kincardine, and really got the ball rolling with that. When we got permission to talk to Josh, it was all hands on from there. And
Nice.
Very happy to have him on board. Andrew Giesbergs, we brought him in from Port Stanley. He last year for Port Stanley was in on half their team's goals, and he's been everything that's been advertised coming into this year. Real quiet guy, but on the ice he makes a lot of noise. Mark Cassidy, our captain, he's off to a great start as well.
My favorite player.
Yeah, he's and that stash is thick and it's flowing
it's
right
alive.
now. It's alive. It's had words this year too as well. So he's come in wearing the C and he's performed great. Brady Brzezinski on defense, bringing him in from Wellesley. What a leader. What a leader. That kid steps up in the dressing room, first year being on the team, and he motivates the young kids. He's positive. Everything that he says is positive, and says it when it needs to be said. Doesn't overstep, doesn't overspeak, but it just seems like every time he says it's like, wow, it was just the perfect time to stand up and say something. So it's been good.
We're in Listowel. We're at the Listowel Squash Courts.
I'm sweating still, by the way. I'm
you,
still sweating.
You
saw me win, right?
Well, I did see you win,
okay.
and we're going to talk about your guys' favorite team, the Maple Leafs, because you put in more work tonight than the Leafs did in their last game.
I see, okay.
So, I mean, props to you. But I'd be remiss if we didn't mention a local Listowel legend that's on your bench, of course, Holden Lansing, who won everything there is to win and is the all-time points leader, and I believe games played leader as well for the Cyclones. Points for sure. He's an assistant coach on your bench. Give me a gauge 1 to 5 of where Holden's stress level is so far through the season, because I swear he was chewing through his nails during the Pollock Division Final last year. He looked more stressed as a coach than I ever saw him as a player. It's just bizarre. Where's his stress level at so far this year?
His stress level, that's tough for me to say. I'm lucky. I get to see different sides of Lanny, right? I get to see the driving to the rink on game day and practice Lanny, and then I get to witness Lanny in the dressing room and in practice Lanny.
He's a pacer, eh?
Yeah, he's a pacer. He's so knowledgeable, though, when it comes to the game. So knowledgeable. So I think his stress level right now, it might be around 3. But
down the pipe.
After the games this weekend, though, I kind of feel for the kids in practice, because I think they're going to get bag skated pretty hard.
He was more of a 4, maybe a 4-5.
Well, he wasn't there this past weekend. He's playing Senior A hockey as well for Seaforth.
That's right,
and his team was short a few guys.
Is he still playing with his old man?
His dad actually is not back this year.
Right.
His dad's not back this year with
Which
his
would
job.
have been pretty cool, though, for them to experience.
He got to play with his dad, Senior A, and I've talked to him about that, and that was just amazing. He absolutely loved it.
God,
ate up
imagine
every
that
moment
kid
for
in
breakfast.
senior A. Like,
Yeah.
you know, one of the greatest junior B players ever.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And
Now
for him
Tyler
to be
Parr's their goaltender.
Yeah.
Or one of the two goaltenders. They've got a stacked show in between the pipes and in Seaforth. So
It's funny you bring him up too, because I mean, I know he's no longer part of the team. He aged out of junior, but before you became the general manager and you were still behind the mic with this guy on Cherry Bus Line's OHA Hockey, obviously, which is now obviously PBJ Cleaning Depot Hockey. You got a unique seat to watch him, and I think he might have put together one of the best goaltending performances I've ever seen through the playoffs in the Pollock division.
he was unreal. Tyler Parr was just, he's just on a different level.
He could give Clarkey some tips.
He could. Yeah, he could actually. Clarkey, it wouldn't be fair if he sat down and gave Clarkey tips, because then Clarkey'd be unstoppable. So
There's no question I know the importance of goaltending, because my team says it all the time.
Yeah.
And they are looking desperately for a new goaltender.
Well, are they? Have they not found one? Maybe.
No. I'm talking about my team. I'm not talking about the Leafs. I'm talking about the team I play for.
I see.
I'm
Yes.
talking about the team I play for. Actually, haven't played yet this year. Haven't been on the ice. I was in Vegas, and the power was out apparently at Kurtzville Arena last Sunday. So this Sunday, I'm wrapping the knee and I'm getting out there.
Attaboy. There you go.
to get that doctor's note first.
Playing through the pain.
Taken care of.
Yeah, you're old enough. You have to
He
sign
said,
a waiver,
the
right?
Doc said, don't play squash. He didn't say anything about hockey. So I'm going.
There you go.
There's no starts and stops in hockey for a goalie, right? It's just pushing.
Less high
It's just
impact.
pushing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That is a high impact
When
sport.
you're in the butterfly the entire time, too, right? So.
Well, yeah, usually gasping for breath. Yes. How's the breath? Yeah, it's pretty bad, eh?
Yeah, Phil Kessel.
It's Phil.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Is that what it was?
989 the other night ties
Yeah.
the Ironman record held by Keith Yandel.
It really is amazing.
He'll have broken it this week,
it's
after
broken
the
now.
show comes out. But
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible, guys. And you guys remember, obviously, one of the most high-profile Toronto Maple Leaf trades of all time, and obviously was part of a very forgettable and unsuccessful period of Leafs history. But I mean, he did his job. He showed up every night and scored a ton of goals for the Leafs, and there he is, about to break the Ironman streak. And of all the guys, like, would you have guessed it would be him that would break a streak like this?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, not really. Like, you know, the guy, the hot dog man, because he does, he's not in the greatest of shapes, but it just shows you maybe that.
Which
some
was a
guys
little
can be-
overblown.
and that's what I feel. Like, you can be in too good a shape. Because you, is that true or not?
Yeah, it's true.
Thanks.
That's true.
So that's why I'm not pushing it. So I don't want to get in like really good shape. Then I'll be pulling muscles all the time.
I think there's something to be said for that as hockey players, because like for every athlete that's like a Ronaldo, or you even see guys like, remember when Tyler Seguin did the ESPN body issue?
Yeah.
He's had all kinds of injury problems over the last couple of years, as an example, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Phil seems to be this guy that, everybody picks on him in Toronto, the hot dog man and all that. A bit of a heavier set lad. And there he is, and he's breaking the Ironman streak. What are some of your favorite Phil Kessel memories, Scott?
Well, I've got one in particular. I was actually at the game, and they showed it last night in the Phil Kessel highlight reel goals for goals that he scored for Toronto back in the day. Was that, I believe it was a Friday night against the New Jersey Devils, where the Leafs won 2-1, I think it was, and they really couldn't get anything going all game. And Phil Kessel took the puck in the offensive zone, looked around, nobody was with him. Other four guys were making the change. He takes the puck back to the blue line of the offensive zone, heads back to the red line. That's not good enough. He goes back to his own end, regroups, spins around, dekes through all five guys, and then puts it in the back of the net. That tied the hockey game up at 1. And Phil Kessel was everywhere, all over the ice that night. That goal, the place was buzzing after that. It was the Phil Kessel show, and yeah, he wasn't done that night. He was just everywhere.
Very talented player, Bridgie, but that's half the problem when you watch him, because you know he's got that talent to do it, but he doesn't do it enough for a lot of people. But hey, played a lot of games. Played a lot of games.
He's the all-time Ironman guy.
He got a rough ride in Toronto with the media.
I think when the media was very harsh on him, and I think that it showed when he went to Pittsburgh and won back-to-back cups, that he was a little bit, not to disrespect some of the other good players that Toronto had at the time, and they did.
Yeah.
But he was on a little bit of an island in terms of offensive leadership, and wasn't going to be the guy to do it. But then when you paired him with a core of guys with Malkin, Crosby, Letang, he turned into an unbelievable.
He can't be the number one guy in my mind.
Well, no,
he's a good number two guy. And in Toronto, he was number one guy, and he just didn't get to that status. He was supposed to be, but he never got there. I always thought he was more of a number two guy, but when
before
you 989 games in a row,
you
you're
can't
doing
take that
something
away.
right.
2 straight cups,
right?
He's gonna have 1,000 points. He's probably gonna sail past 1,000 games, all that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of goals.
Let's move on to the Leafs.
Before we do that, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
You think he's a Hall of Famer?
110%.
I think he's a Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah.
I think that when you look at other guys that have gotten in recently, and I'm not gonna. I don't like to bring up names, so I don't want to disrespect people that have made the Hall of Fame. But when you look at some other guys and you compare him to them, I think he absolutely merits getting in. Yeah. All right, let's talk about your team. What?
I'm choking. Sorry, no, I'm not.
Well, they did that the other night in Vegas. That was about as. I've watched every game of theirs so far, or at least caught a good chunk of them. I thought that game in Vegas was the worst performance I've seen in about a calendar year from them.
Wow. You think that was worse than the Phoenix game, the Arizona game?
Yeah, actually I do.
Really?
I really do. Because Arizona, when they went into that one, you just felt like it was a trap game and they fell asleep. This one, they were not even engaged against a really good opponent from the word go. They were so bad, and you guys both saw Sheldon Keefe yelling. There's now that infamous gif of him yelling, "We've got to skate, we've got to skate." I'm sorry, I'm starting to lose patience with this team. You can't have your coach yelling at guys 7 games in that they need to skate against a team like Vegas, who missed the playoffs last year, but they're motivated to turn around. They got a new head coach.
Yeah, well, for sure.
They don't have a starting goalie. And Zach Thompson the other night was unbelievable.
Well, that's the biggest worry right now to me is the lack of offense, right? Because where's Austin? 1 goal, and it was a tip in. He hasn't shot the puck in the net yet.
Talking about Austin Matthews?
Yeah, Austin, yeah.
See, I'm not worried about him.
I'm not worried about him either, and I'm sure you're not either, Bridgie, but he's got to get it going. Let's get it going. And it looks like the rest of the team is sort of waiting. I think Tavares has been playing well. I think Nylander's playing well. That line for sure.
off to a good start.
And Robertson's fit in well. I think that's the best line mate that Tavares and Nylander have had in their tenure
He's
together.
a talented kid.
He is talented. Yep. He can score. And Austin Matthews giving them the puck back on the 3-on-1 in overtime. It's impressive that they have the faith in him too. But that line's got to get going. Mr. Fancy Pants has got to get off his keister and get going. I'm still not impressed with him. You know who I'm talking about? Mitch Marner. He's just so soft at times, and it's drives me nuts. And Justin Hall, when Liljegren gets back,
I don't think
Justin
he can
Hall
be on that
better
team.
Be gone.
I don't
Victor
think
Mete's better. Not great, but better.
I don't know, and I want Bridgie's thoughts on everything you just said. And this as well. I don't know that Justin Hall can be on this D-core when they reach the playoffs.
No.
What are your thoughts on everything that he just said and that tidbit there, Scott?
Well, from things that Clarkey was just been talking about with Matthews, I think that he's been passing the puck a lot more than shooting this year. So that's one
thing. The Vegas game, I thought he shot a lot, and so did he Saturday
He's got
night,
an awful shooting percentage. That's going to correct.
I mean,
it's
Thompson,
better.
How does he have any business making that save where Matthews is at the side of the net and he just magically puts his left arm out and it just hits the bottom of it, bounces off the line and then out?
No puck luck.
How do you say that he doesn't that should just be buried? He's getting no bounces. He's snake bit right now, but Matthews has come into the year stating to the media that he's going to be more physical,
and he has been.
But he shouldn't have to be the man to be physical like that when you've got that type of talent. It should be a combined group effort to be physical, not relying on Matthews to drive the force on being physical. He's passing the puck a lot more. He has passed the puck off in high leverage shooting areas where he should have shot the puck. And Ryan, you've been watching games, you've seen that too as well. So getting to Marner, kind of annoying me a little bit right now. And
He annoys me all the time.
he's
Like he does. He's a talented player.
and now
you probably
with-
can't trade him because you got to win a trade. But boy, oh boy.
And now with all the stuff in the media behind the scenes, with him being this driving force on Keefe not being able to coach, and
So let's get into
we're
that.
getting soft
What do you
nowadays. You can't believe everything the Toronto media says, but they're pointing Marner to be a bad guy.
Okay, no, but let's talk about Keefe.
Yeah.
What do you is he the guy that's going to lead them to the promised land? Do you think he can? Do you think he's got this team? Do you think the team is playing hard for him? Doesn't look like it.
It doesn't. No, it really doesn't look like they're playing hard at all. But
I think his biggest problem right now is what Barry Trotz said the other day. And he was on a podcast, the Cam and Strick show, where they asked him about coaching a Canadian team or an Original Six team. And he said, I've never coached an Original Six team. That's something that's very intriguing to me. I think that comment right there in the social media world we live in, Bridgie, that might, and look, I don't think that front offices go off of what people say on social media unless you're the Vancouver Canucks, which we can talk about, but I'm sure that they probably have contingency plans for if things go wrong. And Trotz was probably already on that list. But that comment is going to stoke a fire with the fans. And if the Leafs keep on playing the way that they did against Vegas, Arizona, and a couple other nights as well for large stretches of games, that's going to start creeping into the fan base where they start turning on the coach, which is not fair, and it never generally is. But what are your thoughts on that? Like, is Keefe a guy that can do it, or with a guy like Barry Trotz sitting there, do you back up the Brinks truck and bring him to town?
well, I think that Keefe's the guy that can do it, but he's got to let the players know that he's the man.
He's got a great winning percentage.
He's got to let them know
question.
that he's the boss there, and they have to listen to him and give him the utmost respect. It just can't be the Leaf head coach thing can't just be an every rotating revolving door every 3 years. It just can't happen, right? So they've got to make something work here. They really do. Because this is what, year 3 with Sheldon Keefe? So he grew up with a bunch of those guys in the farm system and had great relationships with them, had some success as well. So I think that he's the guy that you've got to try to let him run with. But also, I believe if you get a guy like Barry Trotz that might be interested in coming over, I mean, how do you shoot a guy like that down?
Well, I don't think there's any question he'd be interested in coming.
I think that
just
you
the
jump
comments
at him.
that Ryan, and he actually said that on Bob McCowan's podcast, like back in the summer. I heard
That's
him say
right,
that.
yeah.
And you know what? Like, I don't think there's any question he's playing his cards, hoping something big comes along. You can't tell me he didn't get a lot of offers in the summer, but he's
Well,
just
he
like
did. Winnipeg was
there
right
you go,
on his
Winnipeg.
doorstep.
Yeah, they gave him like beer for life if he came there, but he didn't take it. So he's definitely out there.
I'll tell you what, I'd do anything to have him come back to Washington.
Sure.
I was belligerent when they let him go.
Yeah.
Now I was pacified because they were having a fun summer
Yeah.
that year. But it's still stuck in my craw that they let him walk after winning that cup. Like he in my mind, seriously, and he's not currently coaching. I think he's the best coach in the NHL.
Yeah.
I really, really did.
Well, no question he's the best coach not coaching, and would be instantly could be the best coach to be coaching. So that is quite the burden to be holding over your head. And as we spoke about many times on this show, Bridgie, Dubas is last year. You better do something. You can't sit idle. And this team got off to a bad start last year, but then recovered, and we're really on a roll.
They had an unbelievable season.
They did. They had an unbelievable season, but what did it get them? Nothing. So, I think Dubas has got to make some changes. Something's got to be done with the defense. Quite frankly, Matt Murray and his Band-Aid goalie pads, not even in anyone's conversation right now because Samsonov is playing so well. He's had good starts before, but he looks really good right now.
Yeah,
so,
he has.
I know, but let's just see. Let's just see what, change of scenery. Change of scenery could do wonders for a guy.
I'm glad you brought him up because I wanted to touch on the goaltending with you guys next. And Matt Murray, it's ground zero. It's disaster level.
That's fine.
One game in.
But they're lucky they got this guy right now.
But this kid has a real opportunity now that he got for about 5 years in Washington and could never seize the ball. Look, We had our friend Dark Guy on before the season.
Yeah.
He called me a lover scorn. I don't care. He didn't win the cup for us. Holtby did. I genuinely hope the best for the kid. I really do. He's a first-round talent for a reason. And on the Washington fan cast over the years before he finally came over and put together a couple really unreal seasons in the KHL. I know. I said he was the best player outside the NHL, and I firmly believe that, and I stand by it. But if he can finally tap into what he's been doing in terms of his development at the junior level, the KHL, if he can finally rein all that in, you might have a real bargain on your hands, and you need it. And he's been really good so far, Bridgie.
Yes, he has. I remember talking about him back in 2015 with you in Hanover in our hockey show. And we were talking about him for a good 15 minutes the one night, both salivating over this goaltender, this up-and-coming goaltender that we watched at the World Juniors and put on a show, right? So finally nice to see him in a Leaf uniform, and he has been awesome so far and played really well in Vegas. They, again, just didn't give him any support, but
that
man,
score
was he
could have been
making some big
7-1.
saves. Yeah, he was awesome.
I got to
Leafs'
tell you,
best player.
I admit the first game
He has been their best
seen
player.
in its entirety was Saturday against Winnipeg, and I'm like, this guy's really impressive. Like, he looked really good. Because I had just been away, I haven't had a chance to watch games. So Saturday against Winnipeg was my first chance. I'm impressed. I hope he can keep it going. As you've mentioned to me many times, he may not, but right now,
He'd get off to start.
There's no problems with the goaltending. That's not the problem right now.
Absolutely not.
No question.
Certainly not on his end. And,
Right.
and you know, obviously at some point they're going to have to spot in Shalgren here and there. But this, you know what? This guy, I know that they wanted to have a 1A, 1B thing going, but if this guy's hot, he's 25. Run him like he's 25.
Right.
This is not a 39-year-old Mike Smith. Play him every other game, unless it's a back-to-back. Keep playing
We
him.
talked about it last week on the show. I wondered why they played Shalgren against Arizona. I didn't get it. Not that he was the reason, but I didn't understand it. He had played Saturday night. They didn't play again until Thursday, and they played Shalgren on Monday. And I'm like, why? Well, just run with this guy.
I know,
He's your guy. Why are you playing the number 3 guy?
It was a little strange. Now,
I just want him to play well enough that Matt Murray doesn't get the number 1 spot back. That's what I want.
Well,
because Murray can be a good backup. And if he doesn't play a lot, maybe he can stay healthy.
$4.7 million.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's yucky. And of course now the Jake Muzzin injury, which is, I mean, you're starting to get worried about that guy's future here. Like, I don't know how much more abuse he can take. They are going to have to do something with their defense. But you brought up the Winnipeg game, and that was the first one you really got to watch.
It was a great game.
Samson's great. And they were so good. They were engaged. Morgan Riley. Now, I'm not saying Morgan Riley's got to get in fights and Mitch Marner's got to get in fights. They're engaged. They're pissed off at Winnipeg. That's turning into a nasty little rivalry. I wish they played more. You do that, and then you turn around and you go into Vegas. And you come up with
a day off
worst
dangling in your face for the next day in Vegas, which is nice.
Yeah, 2 days off until they play San Jose, which happened on Thursday. But to have that Winnipeg game with all that fire and brimstone and the nastiness, and then you turn around and you go into another, I would argue, tougher top-to-bottom team, goaltending aside. No disrespect to their goalies. But Leonard out for the year, a team that missed the playoffs last year, perennial whipping boy Jack Eichel, who played really well. Jack Eichel could have scored 4 or 5 on a lucky night if he had some puck luck or whatever. I thought he was electric, and he earned second star honors. You turn around and you put that forward, I thought that was an atrocious performance against Vegas. Bridgie, what do you think of the game? And there's a guy in particular in the lineup. I know everybody picks on Justin Hall, and I don't want him on my blue line personally. But there's a guy in the lineup that I'll bring up to you when you're done giving your thoughts on the game that I'm just kind of finished with in this lineup. What were your thoughts on the game against Vegas?
Last night, game against Vegas, Monday night, sorry. It was honestly something that you could see coming, really. Like you said, the game against Winnipeg, you're flying high. You have a couple days off in Vegas. What do you think these millionaires are doing running around Vegas? I mean, you could honestly see that game coming down the pipe from 1,000 miles away. Flat-footed, not engaged, outperformed, outplayed. I didn't even stay up and watch the third period because I just knew it was going to be a gong show, and I'd be very mad waking up in the morning and get sleep instead of watching that. But it was just something that you could just see coming, and that has to stop. If you're going to go far in the playoffs or you're going to be a contender, that just can't happen. It just can't.
It's one of those things, too, where I know the one argument, of course, is, it's early in the season, but they have gotten themselves into a position, and I feel like I'm almost an expert able to speak on this. After a decade of watching Washington do this all the time, they are in a very unique position where everybody recognizes their talent and ability, and the regular season materially doesn't matter. It just does not. And hey, that's a great position to be in. There are a lot of teams that would love to be in that position right now. There's a team on the West Coast in this country that would love to go the regular season. Doesn't matter. And they're 0-7, 0-5-2.
Let me see.
But you know what I mean?
There's another guy who might be available.
But there's a real problem with the playoff history and the fact that people see this happen and they go, you can't take nights off like that, you haven't won anything. That's when it grinds on people and people start complaining about the ticket prices, the merchandise prices. They find any little thing they can to complain about because you put an effort forward like that against a competitive team in Vegas and you've not won anything. And people's patience starts to wear a little thin. And I think my patience, and I'm not even a fan of the team, like, I don't know how Leaf fans are able to stay sane watching Pierre Engvall.
Look at us.
These two guys, no, I'm serious. My bow tie is tight right now. I'm serious. I don't know how you guys stay sane watching a player like Pierre Engvall. And that might sound weird to say because he's a third, maybe fourth line player. This guy is big for no reason.
He can't be in the lineup.
They
benched him, healthy scratch, came back, was not effective whatsoever.
The only positive thing I ever hear anybody say...
Put him on waivers. Someone will pick him up.
The only positive thing I ever hear anybody say about him...
His skating ability.
...is he skates well. And I'm like, but what for?
Yeah.
There was a GIF going around. Someone clipped it the other night. And I know we're hard on these guys and social media makes it worse. I understand that. There's a clip the other night that was going all over the place of him pulling up on a check in Vegas. This guy's 6'5". He's a gazelle out there. He can skate like the wind. I know everybody's not Tom Wilson, but he could give you a little bit of snarl.
But doesn't this go right back to the coach and, in my mind, maybe losing control of this team?
It can't always,
No, but if you see that, how many times, Bridgie, Ryan, have you seen Sheldon Keefe bench a guy during the game for an extended period of time? This used to happen all the time.
Yeah.
Happen all the time. I don't know the last time I saw it with this guy. Like, Sheldon, I think, is on the verge here of getting in trouble. I don't think he's there yet, but it's on the verge. And I wouldn't have put him back on the ice at all through the game. You sit there. You're not playing. You're not gonna play.
I couldn't believe it.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Like,
yeah. And it's one of those things where if they're thinking, oh, we're sick of Sheldon, and I don't know how true this ever is, players wanting to get their coach fired. I actually know that that's true some of the time. Like, we're not talking about Iron Mike Keenan here or anything.
No.
But if they're sitting there going, oh, we've had enough of Sheldon, and they think, oh, Barry Trotz is going to come in and be our buddy.
what do you think?
I'll tell you what.
You've seen Barry Trotz more than I have.
I'll tell you what right now.
Yeah.
Barry Trotz's a very good communicator. I think he's a great coach. And defensive structure is his game.
Right.
You play good defense, and it'll lead to good offense.
And what's happening with this Leaf team right now?
Not good defense.
Right. But is that the coach's fault, or is that these players' inability to do it?
And it's one of those things where can you get a guy to come in and finally tap into that? And that was the story for years in Washington.
Yeah.
How many coaches did we go through? Dale Hunter, Adam Oates, Brucey Boudreau.
But you found one that
Everybody
won.
loves Bruce.
But you found one that won.
But you found one that won, and finally in the last year. Took 4 years. Took 4 years of Trotz harping on those guys to finally click it in. And it took them going down 2-0 in the playoffs, too, to do it. if they think that he's going to come in there and be better or more kind to them, we're talking about a guy that benched Alex Ovechkin, sat him out of a game, didn't touch the ice because he was 5 minutes late to a team meeting.
Yeah.
That's the captain, the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Yes.
And he said, Alex, you're not playing tonight.
Yeah. That's
If
right.
if he takes over and Austin Matthews is late, he's not going to play.
Yeah.
And that set a tone. And that happened the year they won the Cup, by the way. It was early in the season, and Ovi was late. They were playing the Devils. I'll never forget it. And I thought he was hurt. I was almost sick to my stomach. I was like, he's out. What happened? Found out he was late. And Trotz had him. And you know what? I went, good.
Yeah.
Good.
And every fan should. Really, quite frankly, every fan should.
So if they think that he's going to come in there and be, this easier guy to deal with and it'll be a fresh voice, yeah, it will be a fresh voice, but it'll be a stern voice. You know, I remember when he was coaching Nashville, you'll remember this for sure, and Sergei Kostitsyn changed on that back check and it caused a 2-on-1. And they got scored on. And remember, it's the famous clip. The whole Nashville bench is waving at him like this to stay on the ice, and he just changed. Yeah. He sat Sergei Kostitsyn for a week and a half. Yeah. Sat him out of 5 games because he was so mad.
Are you surprised, Bridgie, that it hasn't happened?
Sheldon Keefe getting fired?
No, that he isn't like more of a coach like that than bench guys and show them that he's the boss.
Yeah,
it's a fine line for sure, right?
It's a fine line, and again, everything's under a microscope in Toronto too as well. And then you get the media harping on you, and players are harping on you. And I mean, nowadays, it just seems like the beginning of the year, Toronto players have gone a little soft, and it's a little annoying.
And who's leading the trend?
Mitchie Marner definitely is the guy.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Definitely the guy right there that's doing it.
Yeah.
So,
and again, my tune is kind of changing on him because, you know, Clarkey, like I've stood up for the guy a lot, and I'm not part of the fan base. I don't watch, because again, for years I watched the core of Washington. They can't do it. Like, these guys can't win. One thing I did this a while ago. I compared Marner and Matthews to Ovi and Backstrom. Mitch Marner, he's more talented than Nick Backstrom. And that's saying something for me. He's my favorite hockey player of all time. He's more talented in terms of just pure wizardry. He can make something happen with that stick.
Absolutely.
That Nick Backstrom just can't.
Great.
Right?
Yeah, he'd be great in a shootout.
Nick Backstrom is 3 times the hard worker that Mitch Marner is. I never once in all those years where they went, is this core in Washington going to work? I never once left a game and went, Nick Backstrom didn't try tonight. Nick Backstrom wasn't aggressive in the face-off dot. He wasn't good on the penalty kill. He didn't throw a hit. Nick Backstrom, one of the most underrated physical players in a long time.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like I sold my guy Nick short when I compared those two. Because the skill is there. But he is a guy that, because of the long negotiation, the camp holdout, the price tag,
when he didn't
price tag, he is a lightning rod for controversy.
Absolutely is.
And
I
when
think
he puts forward efforts like this so far,
I think the biggest thing that's saving him right now is he's a Toronto kid, and I think people are a little bit.
Well, he's from London.
Well, whatever.
Like,
close.
I get it.
Whatever.
I get what you're saying.
He played his junior in London, but he's from
Toronto.
He's from the GTA.
Yeah, he's from the GTA.
But he played.
That's fair.
But
that's fair.
When I look around, and Bridgie, you're a general manager. You know the deal. When you have a talent like that, if you ever did trade him, you can't get pieces. You need a player. You need a player equal or better or whatever. I look around the league and I think, who could they get? Who would a team trade? Leon Draisaitl's name is a guy who keeps popping into my mind. Would Edmonton do that? I don't know. I'm too close to the Leafs to think that maybe they're even. But boy, the guy has.
If I'm Ken Holland, no.
Okay, which is fine, and that's why I'm asking for your opinion, because I'm too attached to the Leafs and think their players are the best.
But is there maybe
you know what I'm saying?
Is there maybe a defenseman out there? Because everyone's going to look at the blue line. And I'll just tell you guys this right now, and we're almost out of time. I've said this numerous times. That blue, you're not winning a I tweeted this after the Vegas game. If the Leafs win the Cup this year with this blue line, every one of them should go directly into the Hall of Fame because it will be the most incredible accomplishment in the sport's history. This blue line cannot win you a Stanley Cup. I love Mark Giordano. Good veteran guy.
But he's an 8th guy.
He's not Mark Giordano that won the Norris Trophy 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Okay, before we wrap up, just want to ask Bridgie, I'm going to give what I would do. I would trade Mitch for Draisaitl if you can do it. And the way Robertson's playing, I wouldn't trade him, but I would look at trading Willie and bringing in a D for Willie and really changing the dynamics of the team. What would you do if you're general manager of the Leafs?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, replacing scoring is hard to do. And when you've got talent up front, you generally try to run with it. Because you like to have it, going out there and training for it. Nobody really gives up scoring talent anymore, right?
Right.
So
but will he win you a 2-1 game in the playoffs? That's the argument that people will say, right?
I know, exactly. But
the game changes.
And that's the thing, it's we can all say, trade Willie and trade Mitch, but I know, would other teams out there do that? Probably not. So it's very, very, very difficult.
Sorry, we have a ball that came up here.
Yeah, I know. I almost got hit with
it.
Really got beamed.
Under assault.
I felt that one kind of zoom right by me.
Usually there's a netting.
Tried not to
Usually
look.
there's a netting up here.
Is a guy like Jacob Chychrun maybe on their radar?
Well, how much does he make?
100%.
Well, he makes a little over 4 right now. He's going to get a pay raise.
So how are you going to do that? Who are you going to trade?
I don't know. That's the
thing,
is
he on their radar? He better be. But how are you going to do it? That's my question.
Ryan,
how are you going to do it?
You said after the Vegas game, you tweeted that defense can't win a cup. I said that in the preseason, that this defense is not going to win a cup.
And right, I don't think that I'm sharing a unique thought. It's just
nothing different.
I think that as a D core, and you look back at the teams that have won recently. Let's forget Colorado. I mean, there's no McCarr there, but like a really good D core there. Tampa, St. Louis, Washington the year they won, Pittsburgh. I'm looking at this Leafs D core and I'm going, even if Jake Muzzin was healthy, I'm looking at it going.
Remember Jake Muzzin, the guy who passed the puck away in Montreal in overtime or whatever.
Okay, I understand, but
I mean, he's not even the answer. He's not the answer either.
I understand.
But like the worst part about it to me, to wrap up this, Justin Hall's got worse. He's worse than he was last year. He's given the puck away way more already.
When Timothy Liljegren's healthy, which is soon,
yeah.
I don't know that you can play Hall in this lineup.
You can't. And I was sort of trying to take it easy.
I'd rather Jordy Ben
because he's big. So would I, 100%. 100%. I've never seen him play.
And the reason why is I get it. Justin Hall's a right-handed defender. That's his only saving grace, in my opinion. It's like Engvall with his skating. Well, he's right-handed.
Someone said to me yesterday that Justin Hall reminds them of a slower, dumber Jake Gardner. I'm like,
it's a little
the
harsh.
Worst thing you can say.
That's a little harsh. He's an NHL player, but I understand the sentiment. I understand the sentiment and the impatience with the fan base for sure.
Yeah.
Bridgie, you got any final thoughts? I mean, let's talk about something positive. Your Bills. The Bills are pretty fun. The Bills are pretty fun.
Yeah, they've been fun to watch this year, and that tight game though a couple weekends ago. And it was actually called on air too as well. The actual score was predicted about, I don't know whether that was the beginning of the first quarter or anything like that, but it kind of feels like a 24-20 game. So
Tony Romo, is doing his thing.
You remember that? He just right to the punch, right to the point.
He's the man.
So, it's like, that was good. But no, on the positive note, we can be happy that the Leafs have got solid goaltending so far. We'll wait for Austin Matthews to come around. The positiveness is there.
He will.
If he's not, having a nagging injury right now, but he's going to snap out of it. He better for my fantasy team because it's really needing the goal support. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do on the defensive side of things because I think they're going to make some trades. They're going to make some moves. I don't think they're going to be afraid to move any pieces to make the blue line better. But that's kind of been one of Kyle Dubas's. It's been tough on him since he's been the general manager. He's really never had a winning decor. Since he's come on board, he's never really been that type of general manager to really make a sexy-looking blue line.
He's bandaged it.
No question.
He's definitely bandaged it.
The problem is the assets they have to get new ones. They don't have many.
It'll be tough. It'll be tough for sure. We appreciate our friend Scott Bridge, general manager of the Mitchell Hawks, who are the defending Pollock Division champions in the PJHL, for coming on with us. And we appreciate Alan McArthur and everybody here at the Listowel Squash
Sorry
Courts
I beat you out.
for hanging out. Yeah, sorry I beat you in one game. We'll see what the ladder looks like in a little bit.
Exactly.
You can watch this show every Friday night at 8, Sunday night at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. We debut on our YouTube channel every Friday night at 9 p.m. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. We appreciate our great sponsors, Coolbet Canada, the Listowel Squash Courts, where we were here tonight. Listowel Vision Care and See the Game. For myself, Ryan Drury, Clarkey, and our buddy Scott Bridge over there, and Alan McArthur at the Listowel Squash Courts. We appreciate you watching Instigating. We'll be back next week.